Hello, hi. My name's Volteripal. There we go. Sorry about that. My name's Volteripal, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So, about this time last week, someone asked me in the chat if I was able to model a Droppod. So, for this episode, stream, I guess, we're going to be attempting that, because it's been a while and it could be good. And we're going to be doing it in Blender. Also, I just realised my chat isn't... There it is. So we're going to be doing it in Blender. It's going to be should be relatively straightforward, I'm hoping. And we're going to be... I haven't came up with, like, a design myself. So, just for this, like, so we can get it done quickly, so we can kind of get back to the actual game development. But I thought this would be fun to do. But yeah, so just so we can get it done quickly, I'm going to model one based off a game called Awesomenauts. Where is it? That so create third party. So here's the drop pod that we're gonna be kind of like basing ours off. Now I think I should be able to, yep, set that to 0. 0 all these out. And then we're going to want, let's have the Y, nope, the X by 90. 0 all these out. And grab Y, move it back a bit. There we go. So we're going to have it a little bit transparent as well. There's a way to do that. Not strength. Where is it? It's been a while since I've used this reference thing. So but yeah. Gonna rename this because it's always good practice to rename. We're gonna rename that Droppod _ reference. And we're not gonna follow it too closely, but this is just gonna be like a general reference for us to follow, is the idea. So we're gonna start by getting rid of the cube. And Shift A, we're gonna add in a cylinder, I reckon will be the best for this. It's kind of cylindrical in shape. And we're going to make this fairly low poly, so we're going to get down to like 12. Yeah, I reckon 12, because if we apply shade smooth, that looks pretty smooth. So we're going to go for like 12. So, actually, it's pretty big, so maybe 6. We'll go 16. Shift A, mesh. So we'll go 16. Now we're going to go into edit mode. And we're just going to scale it out first. So we're going to go into front view so we can compare it to the sides. We're just going to grab the whole thing and scale it out about there. We're also going to go into X-ray mode so we can see the reference behind it. Now, I have never done tutorials or anything like that, so I am probably the last person to be giving advice like this, but hey ho. Here we go. Grab in the Z, move that down to about there, I reckon. Now, the way I'm going to do this, I think the best way of doing this will be splitting this into 2 parts. We're going to have the drop pod base here, and then we're going to have this engine thing come out at the back. That's how I think would be best to do it. So we're going to give that a go. We're going to extrude that. And just bring those as close as we can. We need to put some lines in between so it's not so pointy. It needs to be more rounded. we can always work on this edge later. Oop, I keep pressing R. So we're gonna get Control R, get a line there, and scale it out. And do the same here. Scale it out. Do the same here. Scale it out. And there we go. That's kind of the shape already getting there. Now we might just want to go into front view with numpad 1. Let's do that a little bit, and then another control Shift R, isn't it? It's Control R. That's why I'm doing it right. So why is it doing this menu now? I don't want it to do that menu. Shift R, Control R. Oh, why is it doing that? Yeah, I'm literally doing Control R, so why do you keep coming up with this bloody menu? I don't want that menu. Okay, now it's gone. For whatever reason. Alright, cool, thank you, Blender. Right click, and then I'd say it looks fairly good. Sorry about. I've still got. I've mostly recovered from a cold that I had yesterday. I think. Like I was pretty. If any of you were in the stream yesterday, I was very sneezy. But today I'm a lot better. But I still might sniffle from time to time. Sorry about that. Also, sorry if the audio sounds weird. I'm currently trying to change the setup of this room quite a bit, as well as potentially maybe getting a new mic. But that's a thing for later. Right. So a lot of this paneling, I think, would be best to do in terms of texturing, like this paneling here. And obviously all this texture detail would be texturing anyway. But we might be able to, if we want to, we can do this in modeling detail. But since I'm going for like a fairly lower poly thing, because that's kind of what I'm better at than that, I'm going to go for having, I'm going to opt for having it in more of a, I'm gonna opt for having it like not super detailed in the thing. I'm gonna try and go through the texturing of this as well, but I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm not really used to unwrapping in Blender yet. But yeah. So now this is where it's gonna have to differ slightly, because obviously this is a 2D image and it's supposed to make it look kind of 3D in the game. So it's kind of coming down at like an angle. Whereas for us, it's going to go, we're going to use, I'd say, we're going to make another loop around, let's go Control, let's go around about, I'd say there. And we're going to make all but basically these two. Might do it on the other side as well. Yeah. All but these two basically going to be extruded and beveled slightly. But to do that, we also want to first... So we want to make it a bit more... Just slightly move it to the left. Now, this will distort the model slightly, but because it's going to get extruded, it should be fine. That should give us the better shape. So if we go back to face mode, go 1, and deselect those 4, E to extrude, and we want to, how do we change where it's being extruded by? S. There's ways to change where you extrude it from. Just can't remember. Clear constraints. Do it in the X. We don't want to do that. We want it to come out of the model. Extrude it. Oh my god, I just realised I didn't do that bit right, because this is going to go right back out. We need to grab... Oh, shit. Grab those in the X as well, and get them like that. And then grab those in the X, and get them like that. Now, really, ideally, you'd use, like, symmetry for this, which I might actually do. Let's do that, actually. So you're going to add the modifier symmetry. No, it's mirror in this, not symmetry. And we want that to be on the y-axis. So now anything I do along there should reflect. It's not reflecting. Or is it the other way around? So I got this going to I can't remember how to get the mirror modifier to do what I want. Also, have I got 2 cylinders? No. That's not doing it at all. There we go, it's the x-axis I want. Yeah, that's what I was on the wrong axis. So yeah, we got it on the x-axis, and now we can do that, and it will flip around. Same with that. Except I think the... Nope, never mind. Kind of works. What if I just delete half of it? So remove the mirror modifier. Go into front view, X-ray. We're just gonna get the face and delete the right hand side. Delete faces. Delete faces. Nah, that's probably not a good idea. That's great. Won't do it with mirror. You really ideally should just. I'm just gonna look it up. Give me a sec. One by 6 is enabled. Yeah, so this mirror modifier should be working for it. Hang on. Add mirror. It's hard to tell which side is. Yes, there is the x-axis. Okay. But why does it want to go to edit in the vertex? It does that. It's not really working the way I want it to. That's the problem. Oh, right. Again, no mirror. We'll just do it manually. Screw it. We will. Right. So go back into edit mode. We've got that kind of slant now. Just go grab those and grab that down. So it's a bit angled. We're gonna grab these. Get rid of. Nope, wrong key. Grab those. Control select those to get rid of them. So now we've got the front and back. Get extrude. Scale. Grab it down a little bit. A little bit more. There, I reckon. And then we also want to do something similar for these. Make sure I've got all the ones I want. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna extrude again. And scale it out again. And that's kind of the base shape of it. Right there. We're gonna, if we shade smooth that, the whole object, it's a bit more rounded. And we're gonna bevel a lot of these edges in a bit so they're more rounded. I'm also gonna very quickly go into edge mode and alt select this loop here. Shift alt even so you can select more than that. Shift alt that, and we're gonna also not shift alt because we don't want to drag out the other ones. We want to just shift these edges. I think actually shift control. There we go. And we're just gonna raise that up a little bit. About there, and then we're going to do the same again for the inside. Grab Z on the Z axis. We're going to go about there. Just make it look a little bit better. And yeah, that should be good. Right. Now for... Go back into X-ray. That looks pretty decent, I'd say. And now we're going to do the same kind of thing for the top. So we're going to want a loop control. Go about there, I'd say. One probably about here. We're going to extrude this top face, edge loop, E. Also going to want to control R right now. S. You won't need to do that just yet. Can sort that out later. And we're going to just kind of try and get this. Now, this isn't, I will say, this isn't perfect like polyflow or anything. This is just like a bit of rough making of the model. In fact, this polyflow is horrendous. Do not follow this. So we should be able to go that. And all these. Now we're going to extrude. A scale. It kind of works. Oh, there is a thing to get it extrude outwards. I can't remember what it is. Snap invert. Oh, let's see. Blender extrude along normal. Extrude face along normal, extrude face. Try this one. Grab these, grab these. It's kind of more what we want. What other extrude options we have? We have extrude manifold, individual. Yeah, I think that one is the best we're getting. We can extrude. We extrude again inside, and then we can scale this one down. To kind of get that effect we're going for. Yeah, I'd say it looks good. Get out of that. So now we've kind of got like a little drop pod shape already. I can imagine something like that falling in space. And we could just go like that. Now for the inside of here, we're gonna wanna intrude. Blah, blah, blah. We're gonna wanna kinda extrude inset on. Oh, these need to get out of that mode. So if we go back into first mode, so we can do this on both sides at once. So we've got this. We're going to want to inset. Like that. And at the same time, I'm probably going to grab these and just move them up slightly like that. There we go. And then go back to face mode. Grab these. And extrude. And scale it down. And then basically get these two vertexes. They'll be scared. Just these two vertexes grab in the Y and just move them out slightly. We're going to mirror this at the end, so. And that'll give us that window that we're kind of after. Now, as for the fin, I reckon the best way of doing that would be a simple case of going in, we can get rid of it, that mode, going back into edit mode. So we're going to want it to be like a round. Think about here. If we do go into this, we get it so it's like around there, yeah. So if we basically just get third page, go free for side mode. Grab these, we're going to inset these. Nope. Inset, there we go. Scale in the Y. Scale in the Y. So get them nice and thin. And I reckon that's the perfect size. Now it will make a bit of a weird shape. Like that, which can smooth out potentially because if we just grab these and move them in the Y, X even. Oh, I forgot these two. So grab this to this and this to this. And grab that in the X and then grab it out slightly. Just like that. And we're gonna wanna. Yeah, we're gonna try symmetry this in at the end. So get back into front view. Extrude that out. Rotate that. About there. Extrude that out. Scale it down. Grab it. Rotate it. Grab it again. About there. And extrude that again. Grab it. Rotate it. Scale it down. And we can like mess around with kind of the shape of this. Try and smooth it out. So we grab all of those, kind of rotate that a bit smoother like that. Grab all of those, do something like that, scale it out a bit maybe. Grab that, scale it out slightly. And if we need to, we can always add in, if Control R would, there we go. And like another edge loop there, and we could just scale that out, grab it down, or scale it back in a bit. Giving us that kind of wing. And if we want to as well, we can also just realize I scaled in all. Actually, it's already kind of done then because of that. That's pretty good. I was going to say we can scale it in the y-axis, but it's already kind of been scaled. I just might want to change that in the Y, just make it a bit of a smoother transition. Go to edge mode. There we go. Scale that in the Y slightly. There we go. And yeah, that's looking kind of nice. So yeah, we've got the Droppod. More or less. It's not going to be a complete one-to-one. Again, this is just kind of a rough showcase of how I would go about something like this. I was going to rename this to Droppod Body. And so as you see, it's kind of got this like indent going around here, and we can try and maybe replicate that. Which I think it looks kind of decent without it. Kind of looks like a Droppod without it. I'm gonna skip that part. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna get the face. I'm gonna extrude down. Scale it in. And that's the kind of body of it done. So that's it kind of like at the moment. We will kind of go back and change the smoothness of this down here, because that's kind of the main bit I'm looking at going, this could be better. But yeah, if we get like, I'm gonna save this. Save as. I'm gonna save it as not in the gamedev TV. That's how I learned to like use Blender actually. I went on the gamedev TV course, very good course. I'm just gonna save this in like a new folder called MISC. And we're gonna call it Droppod. Always, always, always save your work. It's really important. The last thing you want to do is like not save your work, because you'll get to like the end of you'll get to the end of doing everything and it'll crash or something, or you'll make a mistake which you forgot, which you've then done something else, so you can't reverse it, and you just be like, oh crap. But yeah, and then we're gonna bevel these. Control B. God, how'd you bevel again? It's been so long. That's rip. Oh, I'm on B, that's why. Nope. Inset bevel. It's Control B, yeah. Can I do edges on? Or it just doesn't want to work half the time. Why can't I bevel that? Is it because there's not enough? Why is the bevel tool being weird? The fuck? This isn't normally how it works, is it? I've used the bevel tool before. It's not normally this annoying. I can't bevel it. Do I have to select the face instead? Control B. That's extruding it. I don't want to extrude it. I think I have to do the face. Alright then. Yeah, you can do edges. I know you can. I want to do this line here. I want to bevel that. That makes it a bit messy. If we do that, I reckon that will be good. Just got to figure out what to do with this. GG. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to have... Where is it? This one? Snap? No. Select visibility, invisibility. Here we are. That one. Auto weld vertices that are close by. We're going to edge slide that into there. Edge slide that into there. And now all those should... Nope, they're not welded. There we go. Now they're welded. That's probably why it wasn't... Is that why it wasn't allowing me to do it? Because there's a hole here. Why is there a hole there? Okay, so one thing that's kind of cool to do is you shift A, and then... Where's the weld? There's a weld thing you can do. Control A, B. No. Merge vertices by distance. There we go. And that'll get rid of any holes in your model. That's why I couldn't. That's why I couldn't do what I thought I should be able to do. Because what I want to do is this: get both of these. Control B. There we go. Now let's see what I want it to. Now we can make that a bit. Make that bigger. Ooh. Just gonna bevel that out to about, I'd say there. And do the same for here. Just so we kind of match that reference a little bit better. Control B. And same for this, Control B. There we go. I'm not a fan of how that. Control B about there. It's a bit thicker than I'd probably normally do like this kind of thing, but one thing we can also do, we can also go around the whole kind of bit of it. Same with this side. Go around all of this. And we're going to do a very small bevel on this. Probably about 1. There we go. Just to make that a little bit nicer. Don't worry about that edge, it's going to get sorted out. Now, this is great, except for it's created about, probably about 50 n-gons. N-gons, if you don't know, any polygon that is kind of there twice. So you got like, no, it's any. Yes, that's not a good one. N-gons are anything like this, where you've got you typically model in game engines will render things in with tries, which are triangles. But to make modeling and animation workflows easier, we normally model in squares or quads. You know, and these are anything with 4 vertices. N-gons are something like this here, where you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's not good. And we can kind of just solve that by this, and I forgot the connect command. Like, it's actually just completely escaped my head. Oh god. J? Is it J? It's J. So we can make that a triangle, and then we can make that a triangle, and then this is now. But then again, you got the issue over here where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can go this to this, join. And this might not be best if this, since it's a static object, it won't be too much of a problem. But bear in mind that if you are going to animate like an arm and you're doing stuff like this, polyflow is very important. Polyflow is important really in general for texturing, but we're kind of skipping through a lot of that. So one thing we can do here is rather than like do all this mess, we can just go join this, and that's now a quad. And 1, 2, and then we just want to join this to, let's say, this. Yeah, just like that. So we got all that set up. You're just going to do the same around everywhere. You can leave this to the end. Something like that might just be able to edge slide, because you're not really going to notice it. Yeah, I'd argue that you can't really notice it. And again, those around now. This bit here, you've got too many. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we just join that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine. Go down here. Join that. Join that and that. Is this a pain? Yes. Is it kind of necessary? Yeah. The reason n-gons are bad is because it's more or less kind of, it's not such a massive deal if it's a flat surface. But let's say you've got, if you've got, say, something like this, where it kind of bumps out. If you've got too many points here, if I had like a lot of vertexes here and here, the renderer won't know which way the edge is supposed to go. Like, the edge is supposed to fold. Because you can think of modeling as, like, I don't know, like clay, really. And each fold or crease in that clay is a different line or edge. Without the edges, the engine's unsure how to make the polygon work. So it'll kind of just pick one of, like, 2 options it has. And it may not always be the result you want. And game engines just do not like them. They are bad. Do not do them. Like, ever. They are, like, the one thing you should really strive to avoid when modeling. Like, polyflow is important. This has got terrible polyflow. Do not look at this for polyflow. This is just this is just a quick model. 2, 3, 4. I think that's pretty much all the n-gons. We can come back to this later and figure out where any n-gons are. But yeah. Well, this at the bottom here, this is a big n-gon. We're going to have to probably put a vertex at the bottom so it becomes like a cone. Same up here. And the last thing I want to do with this is we're going to add in a mirror. Let's try this again. So we're going to mirror it. Bisect X and Y. flip the Y. There we go. And that is basically our Droppod model. We can also shade smooth. Go to object mode, shade smooth. Oh, shade smooth. That does not look good with shade smooth. Auto shade smooth, shades flat. Nope. If we go auto instead, because the default was used. There we go. That actually looks pretty nice. A bit more polygonal in certain areas. We can always change that, but for now, that's kind of like. There we go. That's a Droppod. And then we texture that, be more metallic. This bit could have been a bit harsh, a bit thinner. I think it's a bit too fat. I might change that. I know a way of changing it. That wouldn't be too bad. So we go back to edit mode. We should really need to. Oh, these vertexes might get in the way. I'm going to give this a go. But I reckon all we need to do that, if we go to X-ray, so grab all of these. We just kind of grab these as well. Grab it downwards. See what that looks like. Nah, it looks weird now because it's going down but not inwards. Could try though. Grab down and just ever so slightly. Nah, I think I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it as it was. Mind you, I think that's just because. I think that's actually less so an issue with everything else. Give me a sec. Grab that. Grab that. Down there. I think that's actually more just the reason it looks weird there is because it just isn't. Go front. Grab. Oop. Deleted that. Grab in the y-axis and just there we go. Now the only problem is it's a bit thin on. Don't want that one. Just move that there slightly. This does kind of deform the shape, though. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. It's going to be a bit thicker, but yeah, you kind of want to sort. So you want to sort out the base. This is an example of why you want to sort out the base shape of your model before you do the full kind of thing, because if you don't, you'll have this weird. If you don't, it's gonna be a pain to fix later. But yeah, that's kind of the base of the Droppod. Now we could leave it there. I'm gonna add it because that's kind of already Droppod shaped. I'm gonna add in the big booster thing on the top. So we're gonna actually hide that for now. Get to 1. Now, one of the things you could do, you could just add it as a separate model. So we're gonna get another cylinder. And we're gonna make this one. Yeah, we'll go 16 again. Just so it's consistent with the current thing. Scale it up. Grab it up. Make it X-ray. Go to edit. Grab that. Go down. Scale that. Oop. Scale that a little bit out. Control. Yeah, I want to do loop cut and slide, so stop getting in the way, you damn menu. That would be a good shape, I reckon. We're not going to go too detailed with the different mechanical parts going around. As you can see, we're just going to go kind of fairly. Again, this is supposed to be like a very quick kind of... I'm just doing this to kind of show how I would approach something like this in general. This isn't like a big tutorial. This isn't... There we go. Let's get something like that as like the kind of base. And we basically want 3 different pods coming out of it. Now, there's 2 ways we could do that. We could try and extrude, kind of shape this pod into what we want. And that would be doable. It would also be very difficult and a pain. Or we could just simply go Shift A again. Shift A. Control in object mode, Shift A. We're going to add in a mesh. We're going to add in another. We're going to add in another cylinder. We'll go for cylinder again. So cylinders. Grab this X Y. We're actually going to make this. Hang on. We're going to actually make this a bit lower poly because it's going to be a bit smaller. Cylinder. We're going to make this 12. Grab that Y. Grab X. Scale that. Go to front view. Gonna grab that there. Scale that. Edit mode. We're gonna hide the other cylinder as well for now. Going to edge. We're gonna add in a few. Just gonna go to just 1 loop for now. I guess before we even do the loop, we're just gonna drag that down there. We're gonna work off the bottom. So gonna add Control R. Gonna go drag about there. Scale that down. Scale that down. Grab that. There to say. Can do a Control R there. Grab that, scale that even. Grab down. Grab that down. Scale it a little bit. Extrude. Scale that down again. And then to get that curve, we're just going to move it. So we're going to Control Z. So grab, and then we're going to go in the X-axis, move it slightly left. Grab in the X-axis, move it slightly left. Do another Control R. Grab the X-axis, grab and scale that just a little bit. Grab. Move that about there. Grab that, move that about there. And that's kind of the shape. Yeah, that's kind of the shape we're going for. And then we just want to very simply get that cylinder. So what we can do, if we can do Control, no, what is it? Shift? Z? Z. No, X. No. Nope. What is the key to move the Alt? Alt 8? Nope. I always forget the controls for Blender because I'm new to it. How to move the 3D cursor in Blender. There's a toolbar. Shift S. There we are. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put this to cursor to selected. And that will be, that's a point in the center of that point now. So now we can grab this. Move it to where we kind of want it to be. Oop. Yeah. Yes, that's kind of where we want it to be anyway. Going to make that middle platform a little thinner, but we can do that later. Get out of wireframe mode. So that's kind of what it's going to look like. It's kind of just going to be clipping into it. If we go, we can make that look a little bit better in a sec. So we put that there. And we can make that thinner. But for now, what we just want to do is we want to do an array of these. Array, fixed count. We want to do these around constant offset. Nope. Thought it's an array, but ooh. Nope. Thought it's an array. Give me a sec. Just trying to remember what the thing is. Objects around the point.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Blender.
Eat that. Alright, so yep, I just figured out how to do it by looking up tutorials. So we're going to add in an empty. And it doesn't really matter which one, so we're just going to go plain axis. And so that what we want to do is we do want to do an array. And we want to do a fixed count with an object offset of the empty. And then we want to grab the empty. If we can. Give me a minute. It's not exactly doing what we want. Don't want relative, we want object offset. Give me a minute. Right, yep, I've just seen what I did wrong. Okay. It's because I had relative offset and I put it to. I need that to be 0. And the empty. Nope, it's still not doing what I want it to. Why is it not doing what I want it to? I want to go around this object and it should be doing that, but it's not. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, one thing that might help is if so we want to one thing you want to do Shift A, no, Control A, and we want to apply all transforms. So this is like the default state of the object. That might have been messing it up. Get rid of that array. Let's put a new array on it. Relative offset. Turn that off. Object offset. Empty. 0. Why is it going up now? I think I see why. So I have to apply Control Shift A, Control A, all transforms to that as well. Okay, so we go RZ. Okay, that's kind of working. So how do we get it so it doesn't... Nope, nope. Give me a minute. Once again, gotta go research. I see what I need to do. So so we're gonna do Alt R, Alt R. That's great. We're just gonna we want to rotate that by 120. In the Z 120, and that'll make them all nice and spaced. And then we just want to so they're nice and spaced now. The only problem is I need to rotate those in general. The hell is going on with it? Shift A, Control, Shift S. Cursor to world origin. And we're just going to want to change that so we're using the 3D cursor. RZ. I kind of want it to be... I want it to be the other way around, damn it. If we apply this, then RZ. There we go, okay. Do that now so it's Z. There we go. And that's kind of the Droppod boosters. Now I just kind of want to fix this up because it's a bit ugly looking at the moment. So edit mode, we're going to make that smaller, much smaller. Yeah, we want to go to X-ray mode so we can actually hit it all. So we're going to make that way smaller. Oh, right, I'm still using the world. I need the medium point, that's why. There we go. Grab that in the X. Kind of the same for the top, really. It's all a bit too thick at the moment. Tell you what, we're just going to move these up as well. I'm doing all the wrong buttons. Grab. Go 1, grab Z. About there. And just to give this a bit of detail, what we're going to do is we're going to make this like a paneling effect. So to do that, we're just going to very simply Control R. Oh. Control R. We're going to do one there. We're going to do another one. Actually, no, that's all we need to do. So Control R, do that. We're just going to do a little bit of variation with this. We're going to get these. Control Z, move that up. This, Control Z, move that down. This, Control Z. This, grab Z, move that up. Okay, that's a bit randomized. It's a bit unorthodox. And we're gonna get the edge. Control, no, Alt to get the whole edge. And we're just gonna want to basically bevel. Control B. Bevel it ever so slightly. And then extrude. That is not what I want to do. Why is that doing that? Is that 2? Hang on. No, so what is it? Do that. I'm going to extrude along normal. Just inwards slightly, basically. And that's how you can get like a fairly cool paneling effect to go around something. If you want to manually model it in, that is. The better way of doing paneling really is a cheaper way of doing it is through texture. But at the same time, the best way to get that texture data to the texture normal map and stuff is to basically do a high poly and then lower it down into a low poly. We can cap that later. Go into the front view. Do that. Grab Z. Move that down a bit. And there we are. That is kind of the drop pod done. Let's see. The only thing is we do need to cap that off. Which we will do now. Let's get all that. Scale it. Not scale it. Extrude it and scale it inwards. Huh. Let's delete that. Okay. Delete the vertices. And then we're going to want to... I want to do something a bit different from this. I'm going to go... Scale it down a bit further. About there. I'm going to extrude up. Z. Scale again. Extrude up. Z. Scale it again. Why am I in that mode? Z. Just gonna grab. Ooh. Gonna grab all that Z down about there. What the hell's going on with that? Oh, I think that's the normals. Yeah, I think that might be due to the normals of the model, but I'm not sure. But yeah, and then we can basically put that back. And now we have got a drop pod. And again, we can shade auto smooth those. A little bit thingy, you could probably do that better. Shade auto smooth that. That's fairly decent. I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, that's kind of the drop pod, I'd say. And then obviously you would unwrap it and texture it. Which I guess we'll do now. Unwrapping is something I haven't done much of. That's the problem. Not a massive fan of the way those look. I'll try and make that more pointy. It'll be fine. It'll look better in the final version where it's not as shiny, I reckon. Yeah, it looks a bit better. Okay, so texturing. So for that, we're going to go to the UV editing workspace. my favourite. And we're going to basically want to first group all of these. We can parent these so that they'll all be selected. So we want to parent. This will be the base object. And then we'll parent. So you want to do this, and I think it's Control P. Parent to object. And then this, we'll put to this, Control P, object. One thing we will want to do, Control A, all transforms, Control A, all transforms, Control A, all transforms. So now we've got the body, which is parent to cylinder, which is parent, should be parent to, it's not parent to. Control P, object. There we go. So now if I grab this, the whole thing moves. So it's all kind of one object. This is one of the things I wish I learnt really early on during when I was at college, is that you don't have to make everything all one object. It can be better to, but you don't have to. And I did not know that for the longest time at college. So we're going to call that drop. I've got caps.com. Still got on. Droppod. Let's go boost. Boost the base. And Droppod booster. But yeah. Again, it's not the perfect model. This is just a very rough demonstration of making a Droppod. And again, just using the awesomenauts one as a base because it's a game I like, and why not? So basically what I want to do is want to hide pretty much everything that we don't need. So reference, camera, the light, the empty. We're going to do 8. And I cannot remember how to do this to save my life. I think for a base we could just go try unwrap. So Control A, Control. I think we go in edit mode for it. Yeah, we do. So we're in edit mode for all these objects. Now we can. And we've got bloody duplicated faces. God damn it. Oh, no, we don't. Hang on, I know why that's happening. I think. Yeah, okay, I see. Right, one thing we forgot to do, which we need to do. Here, this mirror. We need to apply this again. So we need to actually apply this. Which we haven't done because we can't do because we're in edit mode. So we need to apply that. And now it's the same for each side. Quick check around for end guns. That seems fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Someone is mowing the lawn outside. It's like 10 AM. I hope you can't hear that. And one thing we're also gonna do is we're gonna and merge vertices by distance. Gonna up this slightly. There we go. And that'll get rid of those vertices there. Gonna grab this. We also need to, before we do anything else, we need to fix the N-gon on the roof. Which I think is actually already done. Mostly. So if we just hide these. Okay, so we can use that as a base. So we just J, 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 J. Join all of these up just to connect them, so we get rid of that n-gon. There are other methods of doing this that create a few less polygons. But again, we're not too fussed about poly count right now. And same for the bottom. This is kind of the problem with spherical objects. Is you do need to cut. You do have a lot of this. Now, one thing as well, another thing that I learned during university, which during my time at college, which again wasn't completely explained. You don't need to make everything a little bit. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. Should always move. There we go. You don't need to make every single little thing. Doesn't need to be modeled. So let's say I'm making a building and I'm only going to show the inside. You don't need that back wall to be modeled at all. It can just be a hole. You can have holes in your models. It's something that no one ever really told me. And I eventually, after a while, it's like, oh, okay, so I don't need to waste time trying to connect the. So you can have like sometimes you can do that, so you can have it so you got a complicated shape, and you then got to try and connect it into a kind of relatively low poly flat thing on the back. But if they're never ever gonna see the back, you don't need it. You can just. I see some ingons. You can just have a hole at the back of the model because they're never going to see it. It's fine. Join. Oh, don't want to do that. But yeah, it's one of those things that no one ever really mentions. But yeah. Here we are. Droppod. Now I got doing my least favourite thing. I think this. See this one as well. Double check this one isn't. So this currently has got a hole at the top, which we don't want. I can't remember actually how to fill a hole. I mean, that works. It's not pretty, but it works. They're all triangles. Join those. Join those. This is another way you can do it. You can just do it like this. So it's all squares instead. Except for the last two, which are triangles. And that should be good. And then we just want to check the boosters. I did put booster. It just gets cut off. It says booze. And got the boosters. So again, join these. Now, annoyingly, because I cancelled that array so I could move them around, these are now separate objects. So I've got to go around and do all of this. Oh, that one's so different. Join that, join that, join that, and join that. Why is that one different? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Join, 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 join. Join, 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 join. Join that, join that, join that, and join that. Okay, there we are. So, we've got here the boosters. We've got the other boosters. Bing bang bosh. Right, and now we can once again go into object mode, select everything, go into edit mode in here, and now we've got the actual. Should have all the things. We can go A, and I've completely forgot how to unwrap. I think it's U. Yes. We could do a basic one. Let's just see what this does, and you're going to see we have a lot of folding over. We can also try and do Smart Project, which will do it, but it will be a bit. So Smart Project is a way you can just skip all of the unwrap, pretty much. Because we're going to new test. Okay. Ooh. We're going to want to make a texture for that. Shading workspace. Get rid of that. We don't need that. So we want to go new material. Not material. New image. Object. I think it's a world. No, it's an object. Add. Generator. Add color. Input. Check a texture. There we go. Shift A, input. No, I don't want UV map. Shift A, input. Converter. Shader textures. We did check a texture. There is another one you can do, but scale down to like 7. There we go. Go back to the UV editor. Image new. There is a way you can generate. There is a way to generate a checker texture.
In this Blender tutorial, I will
Alright, I'm back. I figured out how to do it by watching another tutorial. Very quick. Again, I'm fairly new to Blender, so there's a lot of stuff I don't remember how to do. But yeah, so we've got that set up now. We are just going to want to apply this material to everything, so it works. So yeah, now what we've got. I don't want texture paint, I want UV editing. There we go. We want to have that as a UV grid. I want to go in up here. We want to make sure we can see it. So yeah, as you can see, basically where. So you can see all the textures are there. All the texture is unwrapped, and it's not really distorted per se, but it is in a completely nonsensical order, and that's kind of the problem you've got. Is that if you unwrap Smart Unwrap, especially on an object like this, because of how rounded it is, you're gonna get like so many different objects that you just don't know what to do with. But yeah, so if we just go basic, so if we do reset, so we do Smart Unwrap, that will basically do that. And to be fair, if you, as a basic thing, you can do just this. Especially if you're going on to, let's say, if you're going to go from this and go into Substance Painter, this is perfect. Because you can just go straight from this into Substance Painter and get all of the different... Is this working? Yeah. Yep, and I'll just close that. I'll close that, yep. Yeah, so you can go in there and you can just paint directly on the model, so it's not actually that big of a deal. But you don't exactly want to do that, because if you do, it's going to be a bit of a mess. So what you really want to do instead is you just kind of want to save this first. So what ideally you want to do is you want to kind of mark seams. So I think there's a way to reset. So clear seams. You project from view. So that kind of like, that's kind of what it looks like if you do it from view. But what we want to do is basically we want to get the edges and mark them. So we go to edge mode. Which is a different mode on this because, there we go, edge mode. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to go around. Set a new section. Basically, it's going to go around the whole model. And we're going to want to mark seams where we want the unwrap to be. And deciding on where these seams are is sometimes tricky. So the general rule of thumb is that you want these seams to be in relatively hard to see spots. That's not always doable. For example, a globe. Or this is probably going to have a few seams that you will be able to see. But that's not so. That was a big deal. That would be a big deal if you're making your textures using, say, Photoshop. Because then you've got to be really conscious about making sure it kind of loops back around. But with newer programs like Quixel Mixer, Substance Painter, all these things, they can just do it based off position now rather than the unwrap. So you can import your model and do it based off that model's position rather than the unwrap. So it's a lot less important to get these seams to be like perfectly hidden. So we want to do U and mark seam. And you can see we've got this nice red seam going around. So now if I was to... I could do by polygroup, but by seam, I know I can. But yeah, so now what we can do is we can kind of... There is a way to... select by marked, but I can't remember what that is. That's island. Well, now if we unwrap, let's say, you see it's going to come out with a separate section for this. And that's mostly actually kind of fine. Except for, we're going to want to basically cut it in half. Because it's not entirely sure what to do here. Actually, is it? It's kind of not actually distorted. That's pretty good, actually. Actually, I think that might be perfect. Is there any distortion at all? There's a tiny bit. But I actually think that seems relatively fine. Oh, no, actually, never mind. I was about to say that, but then I saw this bit's a bit distorted. So, yeah, we're not going to do that. So, basically, just going to want, like, a seam, I'd say here to here, so it can be cut a bit better. So, we get that, and we go, like, there. I want to go in edge mode for this. That to there. Why are you going past that? Because I'm doing alt. There we go. Again, M mark seam. No, U mark seam. And let's try that again. So, just gonna get everything, unwrap. And there we go, it's a bit less distorted now. As you can see, it's not as distorted because it's got basically room to flatten out. We might just be able to do the one, so we don't even need all of that. So we could try this. So U, clear seam. U, clear seam. Alright, and then we can try this again. So A. A, unwrap. And as you, yeah, so that way we get basically the same kind of effect of it not being distorted. It will be at an angle, but it's not distorted. Mostly, it's pretty smooth. I'd say that works pretty nice. But the benefit is now we've got this one UV island, which is a lot easier to manage. We could do the same. So for this, we're gonna need a seam at least at one point. So I'm gonna pick. We're going to go for what's going to be the back. So this is the front, this will be the back. Might be better to do the side, actually. So we're going to, again, go to edge mode. I'm going to pick Shift Alt, just so it's easier. Just get it a lot quicker. It's not perfect at finding the path you're trying to get. Because ideally it will do, like, the group of them, because of the way we beveled it, it's not having a fun time with it. But it's getting there. To be honest, I'll be completely honest. This is the first time I've modelled something like this, especially in Blender. But this is like the first time I've modelled something like this. Full stop, really. We're gonna want to mark that seam. Keep doing U. Mark seam. And we're going to want to do this. We've already got the seam on the other side. And we basically... You got to think of it like a fold-out box. So... It's... You got to be able to fold it out. So if we were to do, let's say, a seam here... So from here to here, Mark that. Keep doing M. Mark that seam, and then we just gonna unwrap it all. You can see it kind of works. We will get a little bit of squish and squash around these kind of corners here. You can see it kind of distorts because it's not able to flatten out as it should. But to be honest, that's pretty good. And one way we can kind of fix that is if we just kind of get a few seams here on these corners. That should, I think, fix it. On there. Gonna do the same thing for here. Is important. And this should hopefully fix that issue. There we go. Go over here, do the same thing. That should be all the ones I need. So you, Maxime, and I think this should make it a little bit better. So we'll go unwrap. So yeah, it's kind of got rid of some of the distortion around on the lower part on this bit. But we do still have the problem of it's kind of distorted along here, as you can see. And I think the problem with that is it's because of this curve here, it's not able to properly unwrap. So I reckon if we just basically separate, we might not need these then in that case. So I'm going to get rid of these. So we're just going to undo that. And we're just going to try this instead. Mainly because also this is a bit easier to do. And again, the main time this is very important is when you're trying to texture with well, making sure the textures aren't distorted. That's important regardless of what you use to texture. But trying to make it all UV islands that are nice and organized, that's a lot more important with software where you're just making an image. And it's also good if you want to use a texture map with if you want to use like one texture map for like multiple objects, and it's like modular textures. Something like how you would do a building is done quite a lot. So rather than having like this is the window texture, this is a door texture, you have it all on one texture sheet, and you just drag the UV shapes onto where they need to be. It's a great way to save like space and reuse texture. I need to mark seams, not do that. There we go. So 8, unwrap. And there we go, it's a lot less distorted. There will still be some kind of minor distortion because it's a round object. Now, the only problem you're going to have with this is you're going to get this somewhat difficult to work with a noodle. Which for us, for what I'm going to texture with, isn't a problem. But just bear that in mind that if you're going to texture with Photoshop, this might be a bit of a nightmare for you. Now for the seams on this, we're just going to split it in half. Under the wing, I reckon, would be the best spot for this. So we're going to need seams, and this is a very lengthy process, by the way. This will take a while of your time. You will get. This takes a while. It's not super fun all the time, but it's pretty necessary for doing a good. It's pretty necessary for. It's necessary to do this well. You need to have a unwrap. You need to unwrap your models, and it's by far the most annoying part of unwrapping. I always remember my college tutor used to go on about how he hated this. Was like his least favorite section to teach, and I see why, because it sucks. I mean, in basically, you just got to think of it like you're making a cardboard. You know, like those old cardboard like models that people used to make, especially with like Minecraft characters, because they were blocks. But basically, yeah, you got to basically kind of think of it like a box of cardboard, and how cardboard unfolds up to make a 3D shape. That's kind of what you got to do. Some Maximes. So with this, it should be we shouldn't even need to do much more other than mark these seams around this fin. Because this is just a relatively standard sphere, it should just be a case of that one seam should cover us. Could mark that seam. Get 3. So we do unwrap now. We can find. Yeah, so it's not really distorted. It's like a weird angle, but it's not distorted. As you can see here, we've got the unwrap. It's nice folded out. So yeah, that's pretty perfect, actually. That's exactly what we're trying to accomplish with that. And this top shape up here should be relatively similar. Except I reckon we're going to want to do a seam around here. We might not need to, actually. We might just need to do a few corner seams. We'll make this work. Let's try it. So we're going to want to go around here to here. There we go. Mark seam. And that's a very simple unwrap right there. That would be perfect as is. And we could try adding a. I'm going to try doing first rather than. So I'm going to try adding a few corner seams in on like the big corners. And what this should let us do is it should let us unwrap relatively smoothly. So this will be able to fold out. If I put one there and there, I reckon as well. So that should be able to, and there. That's a relatively flat edge that should fold out. That should hopefully fold out. That's a flat edge. Put one there, put one there. Put one there. Put one there. What I'm trying to do with this, and do we even need one there? We're going to put one there, because that might as well be a different texture. And we're going to add that seam, and I'm hoping that what this will allow it to do is fold out quite nice. Oh, we are going to need a seam going around, though. Up. So we're going to go here for this. I'm going to mark that. Put another one there. Mark seam. Okay, let's try it. So what I'm hoping with that is if we go A, You unwrap. So yeah, that actually relatively worked. So the reason I did those little breaks is so that it could get a little gap where it would otherwise crush itself. And that seemed to have actually done the job pretty well. Except for it's still a tiny bit distorted. Not by much, just ever so slightly. That might actually be enough. I'm not sure how much of that is distortion and how much of that is just... So as you can see, it kind of like goes up and around. That might be part of the problem. I didn't do the same seams as I did over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's try that. That might be why it looks a bit off on that side. Mark seams. A, unwrap. And yeah, that's got rid of a lot of that distortion. Yeah, that's pretty good now. I'm happy with that. UV mapping, yep, UV mapping, it sucks. It's the worst. This isn't actually a big thing for the game. This is just like a small thing that I saw someone in the chat mention. Basically, how do you do a drop pod? And I thought it'd be a fun challenge to try and do. And I am trying to learn how to model a bit better, so this is a good exercise for me. But yeah, UV mapping sucks. Fucking massive dick. But it's getting there. So if we go... The wings are... This is pretty straightforward, I think. Should just be a case of get that. Go down there. Oop. Get that. Control to there. Or it picks the stupidest path ever. Shift. Just gonna... Control that there. U, unwrap. I did the wrong command. U, mark seam. And then we just want to kind of put one, I'd say, there. There. Isn't this the 5th dev stream? It would be, but this actually isn't... this isn't exactly for the game, per se. So I actually haven't put it in that. I haven't named it that. So it's a little bit different. Ah, yeah. That's because there's 2 for dev streams. I got to rename the title on one of them. The problem is I keep forgetting to change the title before I start the stream, and when I change it for the stream during the stream, it does change that, but it goes for the initial title for the VOD. So it keeps picking the last title, and I forgot to change the VOD title yet. I reckon that should be good. Let's try that. So, ooh. Yeah, Twitch has got some weird things with stuff like that. Unwrap. So if we find where that's gone. Ooh. Where has that gone? That's down here. So yeah, those little splits, I think... Yep, that seems to have done the trick. It doesn't look distorted or anything. Cool, that's fine. I'm going to do the same for this side. So, one seam there. Seam there. 2 on the top and 1 on that corner there. Seam there. And from here to... wrong one. Here to here. To here. To here. Nope. To there. Shift. Pick shortest path. The shortest path on this is very dumb sometimes. Blender is a very dumb program when it wants to be. And it's cleared all my seams. Nope. Nope. I think that's all the ones I want. Yep. You come out seams and that'll be fine. Ah, yeah, Burning Z. So at the moment, we're modelling a dropship, kind of loosely based off the one from Awesomenauts. It's kind of what it was loosely based off of. Might throw this somewhere in the background of the game, might not, who knows. I don't know if I can without getting, like, sued. It's not like a replica, it's just kind of based off it. Need to get rid of the other ones at the second so I can see what I'm doing. So that's kind of already flat, so what I'm just going to do... I could add like a few... That might actually... That's actually perfect. No, I don't even need to change that. That's already flat, that's why. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Awesomenauts. Yeah, it is a bit of a... It's literally a dead game now. You can't really play it, which is a shame. I love that game. But yeah, that's kind of our main body of the dropship. This thing here should be a lot quicker, hopefully. So it'll be just a case of... make a seam there. Might just be able to... What side did I put the seam on the drop pod? We're going to try and keep it relatively similar. This side. It's going to go like... Mark seam. I keep doing M because I keep thinking M for marking. I want to see what that actually is like if I just unwrap that. You know, all things considered, that's actually not super bad. Let's probably add a seam here. Will I even need to... Hang on, so A... keep doing... I'm pressing S instead of A because I can't really see my keyboard at the moment because my microphone blocks my view of it, so I'm kind of just going off memory, and my memory of where my keyboard stuff is very crap. Another unwrap. Yeah, there's a lot of this. That's pretty distorted. Just gonna do one here and one here. And mark seams. Might need to do one in that little crevice. Unwrap. It's mostly there. I think what's happening is where this crevice is, because it's trying to flatten that out, it kind of has to push it and distort it and squashes it a bit. So I think to fix that, I might just add like... If I had a seam... There, it's just going to split it. If I had a few, like, one there, and then, like, maybe just in here. Let's try this. I want to see what this will do. U, max seam. M. No. A. U. Unwrap. That's fine. So where that seam is, which is like here. Nah, it doesn't really seem to affect it. I think that's fine. I think that looks pretty good. It's a little bit distorted. Nah, we kind of want it better. Mind you, I don't really want another seam. I think that's fine. It looks fine. And that's nice and sorted. Same with that. Cool, I'd say that's fine. And then we got these things, which haven't actually got the material on for some reason. What the hell do I use for all the other materials? I'm not entirely sure why that material's not there. Material 01. There we go, that's why. So we're going to go back to UV editing. This is probably going to be a bit... so the best place to do these, because these are all one object, but they're all separate. It's a bit of a pain. But these should be relatively simple to unwrap. Should just be a case of... Bosh. 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 Do that. And that. Give this more space so I can actually see what I'm doing. Max seam. Same for the bottom, which are holes that I never filled up. Oh wait, they are. What? Oh, they are. Oh, they're just very dark. Do all of these. Nice. There we go. And then we're going to max seam. Just do that to that. No, I don't want to do that. That to there. That to there. And that to there. Max seam. Just unwrap those. And yeah, that's pretty good. I might just... I think because of the way their shape is, they're a bit of an odd shape, so I might just do another seam on the back of them. Just to make it a little bit less distorted. Nope, right down one, max seam, A. I keep pressing S, unwrap. I feel like that's made it more distorted. I feel like that actually has made it more distorted somehow. Nah, never mind. I'm completely off with that. Made it better. Why does redo never work? Let's do that. And do that. Unwrap. No. Maxime. There we go. Now what we should be able to do is kind of get all of them. And just grab everything and unwrap it all together. So, unwrap. And then we're going to also pack. So yeah, now we've kind of got like everything all unwrapped with kind of the same texture density. So the material should be relatively consistent along all of it. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of it, really. It's just unwrapping isn't super awful, it just sucks. That's a conflicting statement, I know, but so we can also so yeah, if we just leave that unwrapped, and I think there's a way of organising it better in here. So yeah, if we want to pack islands, okay. So I think we need to select them all first. A. So we just pack them. Already B packed, I reckon. And there we go, where they're nice and compact now. So that's using up as much space as it can. Should be anyway. And it's got a lot of dead space, so go Control Z. Yes, that's what it was before. And then A, UV. We can also do average island scales. And then pack island. So we'll scale, rotate. If we turn off scale, so they just rotate around. So they kind of keep their texture scale consistent. Okay, see what that looks like. Nah, we'll let them scale because otherwise there's just like a lot of dead space in this texture. The idea with something like this as well is you want to use up as much of the texture space as you can to get as much detail as you can. If you were trying to have like, because you're already going to have the texture being rendered anyway, so we want to pack islands. Let's allow it to scale. Bam. Alright, and there we are. That's an unwrapped dropship. The final stage of that would just be take it into a software. The final stage of this would be either texturing. If you were going to texture it by like painting it on with something like Photoshop, you might want to organize these better yourself and make sure they're a lot more straighter and neater and easier to work with, and in an order that makes sense to you. Another thing you can do is you can just make an image. So like let's say this top right corner here is all metal, this top left corner is like glass, stuff like that. And you just drag the parts where you want them to be. Or what we're going to do is we're just going to export it to Substance Painter. So I'm going to export this and I'll be back when I'm in there. Sorry for the wait. I'm having troubles signing into Adobe. It's been a little bit since I've used it, so it was kind of fighting with me. But I'm in now, just loading up the program. File. Open. Assets. Blender, Misk. File new. Select. We're going to go off. The stream screen will be back up in a second. Misk. Droppod. Open. Gonna go 2048. We're gonna go PBR roughness. Let's go get the default. Should have that anyway. Okay. And okay. And there's a problem. There's instantly a problem. So I can show you what's happening. Yeah, so this is happening up here. I don't know what that is. And oh, I know why that's happening. I know why. I saw that and I wasn't sure what it was earlier, and now I can see what it is. Yeah, so what that is if we go back into Blender, basically the UVs on that section is flipped for some reason, I guess. I don't know why, it just is. Reload that project. Yup. Yeah, so it's kind of, you can't even really tell with. Is there any of these that let you tell? Like bring back the light. I can't even tell which ones are flipped. That's the problem. If we go layout. Nope. Wireframe don't show it. I think it's these ones here. Just gonna very quickly see how I flip UVs. Blender flip. Normals. That's the one. Normals. Mesh normals. Select flip normals. The problem is it's trying to figure out which ones it is. I think it's this to this. Good to go with that. That's what it looks like to me anyway. Go back to here. And this is a completely different navigation method. Yeah, looks about right. Kind of like, yeah, I think that's about it. I think it's those ones. Yeah. Is it just the top? It's just the top. Any of the circle as well. Oh wait, no, it isn't. Okay. So it's just those. So it's mesh. Normals. Flip. That looks a bit different now. Yep, okay, it should fix it. So now we're going to go camera, light. So let's try this again. Export. Okay, export FBX. Save that. Put resources. Nope. Droppod. Okay. Discard that. Alright. Oop, press something and there goes everything. Okay, now we're back for real. this time for real. Cool. There we go. It's not got any holes that are appearing now. We got the drop pod. Yay! So first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to generate some bake mesh maps. So we kind of want maybe a normal world space, all these. Yeah, let's just generate this. Generate that size. And bake stick textures. Just going to quickly go through all those. And there we are. So now we can go back to the painting mode. And what we can do with this is we can kind of just... Where is it? So, as a base, you probably want some kind of metal. This red aluminium looks pretty good. Bit shiny. Maybe something like this instead. That's more like it. So we can get that for like the base shape. Add like a yellow, shiny, reflective glass front. But to be fair, that's like that's literally 90% of the drop pod like texture done. Just with that. We can get some. So that's copper red bleached. And if we have like a, I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that there. I think that's what I think that's the normal map or something. It's generated something weird down there. Height map. Ooh, thickness. Just get rid of all these real quick. I'm not sure where it's got that weird curve from. Even if I take that off, it's... Get rid of that. So we're going to regenerate all those maps. Clear all of these. So that's what it looks like at the moment. Bake mesh maps. We don't want... To be honest, the only one we really need is ambient occlusion. Don't think we need a normal map. Let's bake it anyway. Yeah, I think it's a normal mount that's doing it. I don't know why it's making that weird line across it for no reason. Let's try that. Alright, there's a line. Screw it, there's a line. Is Yamalin Occlusion Is Yamalin the AO's doing it really? I kinda wanted that map. Ah, and the normal map is doing it. They all do it. Where's it getting this fucking line from? It's all being done fine, except for this random line that only seems to appear on the front. It's not visible without an ambient occlusion, but... No, it's fine with that one. What? Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, it's only on that one. Is it because of the lighting? Is that what? No, it's literally only on this side. Whatever, it's gonna have that. I've only got a little bit left of the stream anyway, so might as well have it. Why not? So we're gonna go for that. Can maybe try and figure out why it's doing that. I think that's pretty good colour for it. And then we're gonna want. So if I get up because I've got a reference image of it. It kind of goes to like a darker kind of painted steel. Nah, it's light. Try this one. This one? Nope. This. Steel painted rough. If we just change the colour of that to like a darker red, like that. And then we basically want to put a mask on this. It's a white mask. No, it's the other way around. It's a black. And then with that, we can just kind of paint it where we want it. But there's another thing we can do, which is... It's been ages since I've done anything in Substance. Add a generator. And... I don't want to do that. Is it a generator? Do a curvature mask so it only appears in the curves. Gives us an interesting effect. I actually quite like that. It's not exactly what I was going to go with, but that's pretty cool. Look at that because I want to actually do something different than this. It's a filter I want, I think. Nope. Nope. It's not that. Is it a bitmap map? No. So the current maps that we've got to work off of, we've got ID, which are all grey because we actually didn't get any colour IDs. Normal world space, position. So to kind of do what I was going to do, we will need to make a vertex map. Which I don't know if I know. Give me a sec. Just go Google that. think you need to do it in Blender.
Hey, this is just a really bare bones video showing.
Alright, yeah, so if we want to get the vertex color information in, so we can make this, like, down here a different color, we're going to have to, I'd have to go back and do the vertex color. Great! Guess we're going back into Blender for a bit. Yep. So basically we need to assign the bits we want different colors and vertex colors. Which I totally know how to do. Blender vertex color. It's quick. I don't want to do that. I just want to. I don't want to paint them. I just want to like set them. Okay, can I do fill? No, that's not what I want to do. Set vertex color is Shift K. That's in paint mode. Is there a fill? Okay, vertex painting is something I've never done before. Let's give this a go. So... apparently if I just do this, and then go here, into this, I can go K, Shift K, Control K, Alt K. Nope, that doesn't work. Is there not a fill bucket? Paint. Set for Control X, they've changed it. And that's set for the whole damn thing. Not exactly what I wanted. Whoa. That's sculpt mode, that's why. This is very different to how bloody 3ds Max does it. Paints. So you set vertex color, it just does the whole bloody thing. can draw it. I just want to like select it though. I don't really want to draw. Let's go into this post. Change vertex pose, activate inactive paint mode, select color black, make sure objects come to load. Then go to the menu, select vertex color. Before you do anything, change the color you want. Oh, I see, I see. Right. I think I get it. So... vertex paint, paint. Set vertex color. Go. Paint. Set vertex color. So I'll set it all to green. Because of course it's got to be green. And then apparently if I go back here, select these specific vertexes, go back in, select paint to blue, and then apparently if I select this and then do it, set vertex color, nope, it just selects the whole goddamn thing. Change the color you want to use later. Changing in selection mode. So he sets it to red. Goes into a selection mode. Ah. Well, I just don't have that mode. They've changed it. They've actually changed how it works. And that kind of sucks. Right, well, this is what we got to. I'd say it's pretty Droppod-like. It's all damage look like. Not a lot. But yeah, so we got to this. I think that is fairly decent. I'm happy with where we got to. Honestly, it took a lot longer than I thought it would. We've been streaming for about 2 hours, 40 minutes, and we made the Droppod. We've unwrapped it, and we have applied a basic kind of texture to it in Substance. So I would like to make this actually a bit. I would actually like to make this something, but unfortunately, I am out of time for today. I will. So that's going to have to be the end of it for today. I'm going to try and figure out how vertex painting works. And then we're going to have at the very beginning of next stream, we're going to very quickly wrap this up, finish this Droppod, and then we're going to get right back onto actually developing the game. But yeah, that's the end of the stream, guys. Thank you all for tuning in, if you did. If you're watching in the VOD, hello. Hi. Tune in next time around 8:30 in the morning, and we'll finish this off. But yeah, this will be next Saturday. But yeah, goodbye everyone.